Hey, Writerly Besties, welcome back to the Writing with Anna new podcast where we talk about all things writing. I just missed you guys. I missed you guys. I haven't posted in a whole week and I feel like it's the end of the world. I don't know. I missed you guys so much. But yeah, I do want to make an announcement that I'm going to be posting actually 2 times a week. So starting from this week, I'm going to be posting every Wednesday and every Friday. Yes. Why did that take me a while to think of? But yes, so I'm going to be posting 2 times a week. So definitely stay tuned for that wherever you're listening to me. It could be like on my YouTube channel, on Spotify podcast, wherever you're listening to. I'm going to be posting twice a week. So yeah, stay tuned for those upcoming episodes. I'm so excited. And I just recently kind of did a community post on my YouTube channel asking you guys about, things to talk about in my podcast. Definitely just comment down below. Or like just find me on my Instagram, or just like tell me what you want me to hear and like what you want to hear, what you want me to talk about. So I'm just so excited. So today I'm going to be actually talking about, of course, how I started writing and what got me really into writing. And this was actually a request from one of my subscribers, and I just want to thank you so much for whoever came up with this idea, because I think it's such a great thing to talk about, and I'm so excited today to talk about it. So yes, let's start this episode off with why I became a writer and kind of what made me want to start to write. And I think it's interesting because I honestly, starting this year, it's the year that I've, actually started to take writing seriously in that sort of aspect, which is really interesting because I've been writing for a little bit longer than that, but really for like YouTube, for my actual writing projects, this year has been the year that I've actually, started to take it seriously and consider myself a writer, not so much as just like a little hobby or like I like to write some short stories. And I'm like, no, I write books, and I feel so proud whenever I tell anyone that, and they get so surprised sometimes. Sometimes they're like, I don't really care, because I feel so proud being a writer. And yeah, it's kind of just like me preparing for this episode and me just kind of thinking about my origin story kind of as a writer. I think it's very cool. And of course, I'm going to be talking also about the first story I've ever come up with, like ever. And it's going to like expose me, but I don't care. It's going to be great. So I actually started writing, I think it was in grade 7 or 8. I literally can't remember at all, but I distinctly remember coming home and just being, how old was I? I was literally probably 15 or 16. And I came home and I'm just like, I am so bored of this life. I am so bored. And during that time, of course, I was a huge bookworm. I got into reading so much around grade 8, and it became my whole thing. Like, I would never spend any time on my phone. I mean, that's questionable now, but I would just not spend any time on my phone, and I would just like read books it got to a point where my dad like banned me from books. He didn't want me to read because I was reading too much, which is ridiculous. I know. That's just, it shows how much I loved reading. So by reading and like, being exposed to those sorts of stories, I just thought my life was so boring. So I actually started to write. I pulled out my old computer laptop from my school, because they like give you a laptop during school, and I just, opened like a Word document and I started to write. And I just started to write a story. I haven't finished it, of course. It's something that's so funny, this first story. But yeah, the reason why I started to write that day is because I was so fed up. I was so bored of my life, and I wanted to be somewhere else, basically. And it's not like depressing. It's not like this life is like so boring, but it's more like, why can't I be riding dragons? Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope you guys know what I mean. Like, that was the extent to, what I wanted to be and like what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't want to just like come home and do homework as like, a grade 8 girl. I wanted to actually ride dragons. I wanted to fight wars. I wanted to like meet with princes. I don't know. I wanted to do something. So I like concocted this random story that I just spontaneously started, and I literally I basically put myself in the story. The main character is called Anne, which is very, very similar to Anna, obviously. And if you didn't know, I actually would change my name to Anne if I had to. I like my name, Anna, but Anne is also very, very pretty. However, sidetracked. But yes, I started to write that story, and that story I actually did a video on. If you guys want to check it out, it's like reading my first ever story or like first chapter or whatever. That was interesting and exposing. But I kind of wrote it not too bad. Like I don't think it was ridiculously ridiculous, but it was fine. However, yes, it was kind of a fantasy sci-fi where basically there was this something happened to Earth. Earth basically died for an unknown reason, sort of thing, and then the main character gets shot off into space into like in like a pod that kind of has the job to find other planets and yeah, kind of escape to that. So she ends up going there and meeting like the prince of that sort of world, and then because she's a scientist or whatever, yeah, she starts like to fall in love with that guy, and like it's so cool. It gives me like Avatar vibes. I think I literally watched Avatar, and I know there's the second movie out. I'm gonna watch it I'm gonna watch it tomorrow actually, which is gonna be so fun. I've heard mixed things about it, but again, I'm getting sidetracked. But I was very much inspired by Avatar, so the world there, I think it really does reflect on what I literally wanted to be somewhere else. So coming back to like the reason I started writing is because I was really bored, is because I wanted to literally be in a different world, a different solar system sort of thing. And I definitely think that's true to today. So yeah, reflecting upon that and kind of relating to what I'm writing now, it's definitely different and it's definitely changed. Of course, I love to write to kind of escape things, but I also like to write just because I have a story to tell. And it's interesting, yeah, thinking about my origin story and like how I started to write and like the meaning behind me just wanting to be in a different world. Because, of course, you can only read so many books, and some books can't satisfy particular parts of yourself. So if I like just inserted myself into a new story, which had like all of these cool things like amazing plants and like a whole new world and like these dragons and like princes and a war, like that was so exciting to me that I just like started to write it, and I had so much fun. And I just guess I continued to write. And the second project I kind of worked on was Project CZ, and then the next project was Project BB. And those two are actually very much still in the I'm still writing it, but just seeing where I've kind of jumped between projects and what they all mean to me, it's so interesting and so like humble, no, not humbly, more like adorable, just like how my little mind worked and like how what I wanted to get from writing. And I feel like writers, as a sort of like takeaway, I guess, from this episode is that I guess writers, like their reasons for writing can change and can grow. So of course I adore stories as like a person. I love reading, I love watching movies. I'm addicted to writing my own books and writing poetry. Like those sorts of things give me life because there's story behind it, and it sucks me into a new world that is different from the reality I face every single day, which sometimes is extremely boring. So coming back to, yeah, something that is so freeing as my imagination. It's something that has continued to kind of come back to me and continue to be a part of why I write, why I love writing. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, my origins sort of story. It's kind of underwhelming. I guess it's kind of funny though, because I look back, I'm like, why did I start writing? I literally started writing because I was bored of my life. I feel like that's actually something that a lot of like entrepreneurs or someone like content creating like people, they just like come back to like, I was just bored. But like this, I was like angry bored. I was like, this life is so boring. I would look out the window of my classroom and I'm like, why aren't there dragons flying around? Why is the sky blue? Why can't it be like, pink? I don't, I'm just like, yeah, that's my origin story. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, me talking to you. Yes. Yeah. So yeah. I don't really know what else to say. I would talk about this for hours. And yeah, just like how much I've kind of grown in my writing and the reason for my writing. So I really want to know why you started writing. Like, of course it could be different now, but like why did you start writing? Like, what was the one thing that was like, yes, I want to be a writer? And I guess it is a different thing for me starting writing and then for me actually continuing writing. It's different, but it's all kind of all molded together. But I can talk about this for ages and forever because yeah, it's so interesting seeing how I grow and all writers grow, which is yeah, awesome. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this very crazy chatty podcast episode. I know it wasn't very constructive. At least I didn't think it was constructive, but I hope you had fun listening to like, yeah, how I started writing, why I started to write, and how petty and funny my reason was. But yeah, I hope to see you in my next episode, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.